Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6 YouTube channel. This is part 7 of the timeline of my life. I know that the camera angle is slightly crooked. It's due to the fact that I had to move all the way over here to this part of the apartment that's at a funny angle so that the charger cord and can stay connected to the surge protector, and that the C cable can be connected to my phone, and that the wall socket doesn't get disconnected from the surge protector, and that this can the actual C, I guess what would be called port or mail port, will stay inside my wonderful smartphone. Okay, so I will start 4 days after where I left off in part 6, and that date happens to be March 8th, 2021, because this wasn't just any old day. This was the day I filed my taxes and I got some money instantly. And I'll explain how it happened, how I got the money instantly. March 8th, I got my taxes filed a few hours, or no, wait a minute, let me say that again. I got my taxes filed at the H&R Block local chapter that was closest to where I lived. And believe me, the distance between my house or my new house, or my new home, and this place on 8th or 9th Street, and about 10th Avenue or 10th Street, were a distance of at least 1.2 to 1.3 miles. So here's what happened. After I got my taxes filed, a few hours later after I filed the taxes, and I'd already had the I already had the Emerald MasterCard in my hand, and I reactivated my downloaded and reactivated my H&R Block app on my phone, I get a text message stating that the $600 stimulus check was just direct deposited. And that in itself helped me out a bunch. I stopped feeling so morbid. March 29th, 2029. I obtained a duplicate copy of my birth certificate that I lost in the mail, that was inside a large box of files that somehow got destroyed by the U.S. Postal System. The actual reprint was not received until a few days later. Because see, I obtained it, and I either set it up online, or I called the number that you're supposed to call, and then the services got everything set up for me. Yeah, I received it a few days after March 29th. Was what actually happened. I received the reprinted mail birth certificate that was legal and legitimate. April 5th, 2021. And this was the day before 10 years after I got hit by a car. It was almost 2 months of the day, April 5th, 2021. I got my first teeth cleaning at Marshall Health Dental Care and Oral Surgery, costing me out of my own pocket $226 paid via my debit card. And I put a personal note, and I personally felt this way. That's paying through the nose. April 15th, 2021. This was a wagering job, and I was back on board with Kroger Corporation, or Kroger Stores. It was a rehire date at Kroger Store 782 after not working for a period of 4 months. I was rehired as a courtesy clerk. April 28th, 2021. Oh boy, I had to walk home during a heavy rainstorm. When I got home, I was soaking wet, and I had to take all my clothes off and dry myself off and put on some clean clothes. May 4th, 2021. Got a new West Virginia state ID and federal ID card that was purchased, or that purchase was a major load up on mine, because see, it was on the 800 block of Madison and this cross street, I think it was 5th Street, which is on the west side of Huntington. And I paid at least $35 for this, I think. June 3rd, 2021. I made my first payment on a GE washer and dryer set that I had gotten at Aaron's Appliances with a rent-to-own agreement. July 7th, 2021. I finally got my IRS tax refund after waiting way too long for the money. That gave me some funds to pay a lot of bills. July 9th, 2021. A co-worker / cashier was really rude to me. I discussed the mistreatment with Janet the next day, and after he returned from vacation, Janet had a pretty serious talk with him, as did another assistant manager, and I don't know if this actually happened, but I have a hunch it did. And it was this. And the big man, Saul, the general manager, because Saul was his first name. He's a neat guy. July 13th, 2021. My 48th birthday, and I was sure glad to still be alive. August 22nd, 2021. After working a closing shift at Kroger, I could not get a Uber or Lyft ride for nothing. Meaning, I tried over and over again and I couldn't get it. So I proceeded to walk home carrying a heavy plastic container that contained lovesome cat litter. I was really drained, and when I finally got within 0.95 to 1.12 miles from my home, I was able to fetch a Lyft ride, but I had to wait 10 to 13 minutes for him to show up. And I was really exhausted when I got home. That incident flipped a big switch. So I would begin methods to raise money to move back to Denver. Living in Huntington, West Virginia was too much to deal with. October 9th, 2021. I bought a used 18-speed mountain bike for only $60 in cash. And here's what else I had to do. It had a flat tire, and I had to order the proper replacement tires and a tire pump and a couple of other things through Amazon.com, and it was sent to my house. Halloween night of 2021. Nobody showed up to trick or treat for candy. It was raining heavy lately, is probably the reason why no one showed up. November 19th through the 21st of 2021. I bought $100 worth of groceries and merchandise at the Kroger store I worked at. I didn't pay very much out of pocket. I was granted a $100 associate rewards. Because see, what I had to pay out of pocket was certain sales tax, which was not covered with the associate reward that was credited to my Kroger card, Kroger rewards card, not credit card, Kroger rewards card. December 25th, 2021. I celebrated Christmas at home, and I wished I was in Pueblo celebrating Christmas with my dad and Mary Rose. I had a good time when all was said and done, and on December 27th, I mailed 2 presents, one for Dad and one for Mary Rose. Because I gift wrapped them, and I made sure to pack the package properly and to specify that it was fragile. February 12th, 2022. I went to Walmart to have my tax refund filed with Jackson Hewlett. Meanwhile, I was away from the house, or while I was away from the house, another electricity blackout occurred. This day was the second day I was without electricity. In fact, I said the fact, but it's in fact, I was without electricity for 8 hours. Wasn't good. But the good thing was, and this is something I managed to do after the taxes were filed, and I did a little shopping around before I arranged to get an Uber or Lyft ride. I bought a ONN battery backup for my smartphone after I filed the taxes. March 14th, 2022. I sent some important documents to SSA Disability Benefits Department. Due to the fact SSDI wanted to set up a harsh showdown. Those documents were sent priority mail after my attorney in Littleton advised me to do so. And then after I did that, sent them out at the post office, I shopped at Now Hear This CDs, DVDs, and LPs store. I bought 2 great CDs of Jimi Hendrix, which was Cry of Love and Ultimate Experience, and had some really good lunch at someplace else. April 2nd, 2022. I had a second discussion with a woman named Crystal who wanted to rent my house, but she was uncertain if she could afford to move. April 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2022. I gave up trying to raise money on my own through the website that I set up, and I began pursuing getting a personal loan. Well, my first attempt to do so was through Rocket Loans. Well, the results were that due to the fact I resided in West Virginia, I was not eligible to be an applicant to begin with. Next, I tried NetCredit. I even had a customer service specialist talk me through the loan step by step, and I was denied. I then called Cash USA. Again, I was not eligible due to the fact of residing in Huntington, the state of West Virginia. After logging into my profile with Credit Karma and me vetting all of the personal loan lenders, I applied for a loan with a company called, I'm not going to say. Well, it was a lengthy process, and after going through all of the motions step by step, I was approved, and I was sent, and I sent important documents to a special email address, and then I was approved for a loan amount that I must not disclose the sum of the monies I had gotten, because I do not want to be under tough scrutiny with the banking corporation, which I can't mention, and all of the sister companies. I printed out a interdivisional transfer of employment form, and I went with that I would hand in with Kroger, and asked to be transferred back to King Soopers. And then I took an Uber ride and handed in the transfer form to Janet herself. April 13th, 2022. I took an Uber ride from my home in Catlets. Actually, let me say that over again. I took an Uber ride from my home all the way to Catlettsburg, Kentucky, a township that is within the tri-state area of the Huntington, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia area. That there's more than one tri-state, but that's what I mean when I say tri-state. To eat at Denny's. Well, the breakfast was pretty good, but after I was finished eating, I spent over 90 minutes getting an Uber ride. The state of Kentucky is not fair towards Uber drivers. There is too much red tape. So finally, I reached into my wallet and pulled out an ace in the hole. I called a 3-man operation called Maxi Taxi. And the head man himself, once I called him, told me it would be about a half an hour before he could come and get me. And he said it would cost $50. And I said, okay, that I got the money, and I will pay him in cold hard cash. And when and he was loyal, and when he showed up 25 to 30 minutes later, he called me on my cell phone number and said, meet me at pump 9, I'm getting gas. And as soon as I arrived, I handed him the $60 and three $20 bills. And he got me right to my, he drove across my front yard, and I got real close to my front door, which was cool, the way he did it. April 21st, 2022. I took Isabella, my beautiful cat, to Ayers Animal Hospital so she could get a exam, a rabies shot, and another type of shot too. It was a tough call. As I placed her into her cat carrier cage, she fought me and threw a fit. But I had to sternly tell her with love, I gotta get you these shots, or you'll get sick and animal control could take you away from me. I don't like to talk to cats like that, but when I have to, I have to. May 2nd, 2022. I spent about 25 to 40 minutes applying for an apartment in Denver, Colorado, near Sullivan Station. Because see, what I'm referring to is here. This very place that I'm living at. And the next day, I got rang through the ringer. And the application was on hold for an extra couple of weeks. Now, the next event was a major disaster. My house got damaged. May 6th, 2022. My house was the victim of a flood. There were some homes nearby that got so badly damaged, everything was lost in the home. And the person who experienced that kind of dreadful tragedy are going to go through one of the most upsetting things one can endure. My house had a lot of water accumulated in the garage. A washer and dryer set was badly damaged, and the crawl space underneath caused a junction box to be damaged. And what happened is not all my electricity was blown out, but the electricity in the bathroom wouldn't turn on. And if I plugged like a hairdryer or some electronic equipment or device in there, it would, the electricity socket wouldn't work. And the hardwood floors caused my first level to have the wooden floor to become buckled. It was a good thing I filed a claim with my flood insurance company. See, I am 58 feet away from Four Pole Creek. I mean, not currently now, but back then when I lived there, I was 58 feet away because I took a 100-foot tape measure and I measured it twice to verify this. So that is the reason I was in the worst flood zone. May 9th, 2022, I was informed by a commercial flood inspector that that he would come up in a couple of days and inspect my home. May 11th, 2022. I got an inspection from a claims adjuster and HAAG commercial certified inspector that the flooring was buckled and that the walls will need to be painted, and the work will likely cost over about $20,000 to have all the work done. Excuse me. May 10th of 2022, I officially got in line for an apartment at Hamden Village Apartments and had a move-in date of July 5th, 2022, after I provided tangible proof of an offer of employment. May 12th, 2022, I got Isabella her second shot, a distemper shot, because I took her to Ayers Animal Hospital to do this. May 18th, 2022, I sent payment to Handyman Connection after Richard and his brother Jason reset the Trane or TRANE central air system fan and the water cooler located outside my home in the backyard. May 19th, 2022, I paid over $500 to Skyline Rentals so I could place a escrow security deposit on my studio apartment and pay a pet deposit for my cat Isabella, and I signed the lease as well. A procedure that took over 30 minutes to complete. After the completion, I had an apartment lined up to be living in. June 9th, 2022. After I got a ride to work at Kroger Store 782, I realized I had lost my iPhone. Yes, I lost it. But hold on, it gets good, despite this. And I had my front-end manager, Ryan, place a call to Uber, and I was informed that the phone, Ryan said this to me, that the phone was going to be returned. And after the driver did return the phone, over an hour later, I personally said to her, and I meant it, I gave her a $10 tip for doing this. June 21st, 2022. I took a ride, or no, I'll just say it a different way. I got an Uber ride to Salvation Army Donation Center on 3rd Avenue, and I donated a big box of 23 different items I did not want anymore. June 30th, 2022. I shipped 5 different boxes of items to my new address located in Denver, and I got some packaging tape at the post office as well. July 1st, 2022. My last day of working at the Kroger store, and I also shipped out some more boxes too, because I did this before I showed up for work. July 3rd, 2022. This was a Sunday. This is the day before 4th of July fireworks holiday. I shipped 9 different packages at a UPS store. These would be going to my new apartment on, the address I live at now. I don't want to say my address out loud because I don't want to be a victim of identity fraud. Okay, that's part 7. And me reading about July 4th and 5th, that's going to take way too long. So I think what's going to happen is something I had a hunch was going to happen all along, and that is part 8. Part 8 is next. So please, please, please stay tuned because it's going to get even better. Yeah, you're going to love it. It's going to get even more exciting. It's going to go up like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, whichever way you want to take it or express it to yourself or feel it. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.